In his State of the Union address, President Obama set forth his election year agenda with a special appeal to the middle class. Senior White House correspondent Bill Plante has those details this morning. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Erica. You know, by calling this a make or break moment for the middle class, and by calling for a lot of legislation which doesn't have a prayer of passing in this Congress, the president was in effect making the opening argument of his reelection campaign. He said that the State of the Union is getting stronger, but he declared that the American dream is in danger.
The defining issue of our time is how to keep that promise alive.
For the first time, the president put a number on what he calls the Buffett Rule, billionaire investor Warren Buffett's belief that his secretary, who was seated in the First Lady's box, shouldn't be paying a higher tax rate than he does.
Tax reform should follow the Buffett Rule. If you make more than $1 million a year, you should not pay less than 30% in taxes. Now, you can call this class warfare all you want, but asking a billionaire to pay at least as much as his secretary in taxes? Most Americans would call that common sense.
That call could come up often on the campaign trail, particularly if the president's opponent is multimillionaire Mitt Romney, whose just revealed tax returns show him paying an effective tax rate of about 14%.
It's time to apply the same rules from top to bottom. No bailouts, no handouts, and no cop-outs.
As the president called for an agenda to help innovation, Laurene Powell Jobs, widow of Steve Jobs, watched from the First Lady's box. Mr. Obama also proposed help for refinancing mortgages, encouraging energy exploration, repairing the nation's infrastructure, and rewarding good teachers. And he asked for changes in the way Washington does business.
I've talked tonight about the deficit of trust between Main Street and Wall Street, but the divide between this city and the rest of the country is at least as bad. And it seems to get worse every year.
But one thing on which the president and all members of Congress could agree, the performance of the nation's armed forces.
For the first time in 2 decades, Osama bin Laden is not a threat to this country.
In an unusually tender moment before the speech, the president embraced injured Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, who resigns her seat today to focus on healing. Her husband, Mark Kelly, looked down from the First Lady's box. Mitch Daniels, the governor of Indiana, who many Republicans hoped would run for president, gave his party's response to President Obama's speech.
No feature of the Obama presidency has been sadder than its constant efforts to divide us, to curry favor with some Americans by castigating others. If we fail to shift to a pro-jobs, pro-growth economic policy, there'll never be enough public revenue to pay for our safety net, national security, or whatever size government we decide to have.
Today, the president takes off for Iowa and Arizona to talk about American manufacturing, and those are the first stops on a 3-day post-State of the Union tour in which he'll reinforce his message of the speech, boosting the economy to help the middle class. And he'll do it in 5 states that are all part of his campaign's re-election plan. Charlie, Erica?
Bill Plante at the White House in Washington. Thank you, Bill.